Our next speaker is Jeffrey Oliver, and he'll be speaking about more research, less pain, a lightning tour of UA data resources. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Microphone is on? Yes, no? No. Okay, let's try now. Yes? Thank you. I just embarrassed to say it took me 10 minutes to figure out I'm following a David Bowie song. But thank you, Gene and Jeannie. My name is Jeff Oliver. I work in the University of Arizona Libraries in the department called Research Engagement and a unit called Data Cooperative. Those names aren't very important, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about data resources and really sort of thinking about you have data. Maybe you use data from one of the library databases. Maybe you've collected your own data. What do you do with it? So the library provides a lot of support for other parts of the data lifecycle. Libraries have been involved in data management for a long period of time. We still have a lot of services. We're building out those services as well. We also provide support when you're dealing with copyright and licensing of materials. We've started developing more and more support in the digital project realm, and we also have folks who help with specialized databases, as Gene and Jeannie were talking about, including things like census data. We've also been investing in building out a lot of support in the area of data science, and that's sort of what I'm going to talk a bit about today. So the question then is, like, what do you mean by data science? You ask 10 data scientists what it is, and you'll get 11 definitions. But what I'm going to talk about is sort of this intersection among math and statistics, computer science, and then a domain area of expertise. And this domain is going to be public health, medicine, pharmacy, sort of your area of choice to really get at new knowledge and new information. So data science is the intersection of these three things. It's also a Venn diagram, apparently, and they really like text stickers, but that's just data science. So starting off, data science, where do you go to start? So every Tuesday morning, 9 to 11, main library, we are there. During the summer, we provide support really in just sort of a drop-in office hours format. There are folks there who are specialists in R programming language, Python programming language, data visualization, and soon to be geospatial data support as well. In the summer, I mentioned we have office hours. In the regular fall and spring semesters, we switch over to a alternating week schedule where 1 week is instruction, learn how to do X, Y, or Z, and then the other week is, again, a drop-in session. We've also got support on Zoom as well during this time. I should say I'm going to be throwing up a variety of links. Don't try to write them all down, because at the very end of the show, there will be a link to this slideshow. And that's the one link you want to write down. So don't worry about writing down all these links. So we also support other types of data. So we recently hired a digital scholarship specialist, Heather, who supports analyses where your data are language and words. You want to do text data mining. You want to do some sort of topic modeling. Heather has expertise in this and is here to provide support in those areas. We will very shortly have support for geospatial data and geospatial analyses. We are near concluding a search for a geospatial specialist. It's very exciting. And so if you have data that has a spatial component to it and aren't quite sure how to analyze or visualize it, we will have support. You can come now and ask for support, and I will kind of muddle my way through it because I know a little bit about raster data, but hopefully we'll have a full-fledged program. I know that Gene was working quite a bit with our previous GIS specialist in public health, and we really hope to get that going again. Public health is an area where geospatial is becoming, I think, more and more important. Not that I need to tell this audience that. We also have support for really data from the very beginning. That is before you even have your data, before you have your grant, you have to write a data management plan. And so we have support for writing that data management plan to really line it up with the old and new funding mandates that are out there for a variety of granting programs. But then also, at the end of the project, you have all of your data, and now you need to share your data. And so how do you do that? We have folks who can help you share the data either in specialized repositories, or the university itself has a campus research data repository where you can put your data and then they become accessible to all, and they also end up with a nice DOI, which is a persistent identifier for your data. But I want to talk a little bit also about outside the library. So the library is not the only group that provides these types of support. There's an institute on campus called the Data Science Institute, and they are providing, they are sort of targeting more sort of like almost the intermediate level support. So you've learned a little bit in R, you know enough how to get yourself in trouble, but what's the next thing you want to do? I want to learn about what this unsupervised learning stuff is. This is where the Data Science Institute comes in. They've got a trio of really great educators who are providing support in terms of consultations and workshops. Just a couple of workshops that are coming up later on this month. They too sort of slow down a little bit in the summer and have a pretty robust schedule during the fall and spring semesters. And then also, we also want to mention CALS has a data science group as well, and they're doing similar sorts of efforts, really trying to target those intermediate level learning and resources. This is a workshop series that's going to come up in June for folks. If you don't know about ggplot2, it's a very powerful package for the R programming language. If you look in a lot of journals, you will see figures that are produced using this program. It has some pretty funky ways of doing things that take a little while to get used to, and the folks at CALS here, I think, do a good job of helping folks navigate those resources. I just want to close by reiterating something that Jean said, actually, which is it's the people. So all of these folks whose faces I just flashed up here are specialists in their fields. Everybody up here, almost all of us have PhDs in our field. But we're also very good at communicating. And I think that's something that is especially important for this sorts of data science resources and training, is to be able to communicate well. And all these folks up here, I've had the opportunity to see them train or to train with them. And they're good people. They do good work. So these are the three big groups I talked about: the Data Cooperative in the Library, Data Science Institute, which is probably right there, and then CALS Data Science, which is over there. But the last link right there, bit.ly One Health Data 2023, you can get this whole slideshow and get the links yourself. And before we hear about Daniel, I will take any questions if we have time.
We do, thank you. Questions, comments?
Jean first, and then Casey.
Have a newsletter, right?
Yeah, so if you want to, I'll repeat the question. Jean says, we have a newsletter, right? And the answer is yes, we do. We have a newsletter called Pipelines. The first link, the Data Cooperative link, will take you, and there'll be a button that says subscribe to it. It comes out once a month, and it gives you a preview of all the cool stuff that we and other partners on campus are doing for that month, a variety of workshops and trainings that are out there. And we also put just sort of notices for things like, how are we supporting the new NIH data policy? A lot of resources being built up on that. So subscribe to the newsletter if you want to hear more about that. Thank you, Jean. Casey.
These are fabulous resources, and I'm sad I didn't know about all of them, especially when I was turning in the P20 with the data management plan. But anyway, I was just going to ask, are all of these resources equally available for students and faculty, or is it, or some of them for different groups of people on campus?
Yeah, so I'll sort of go through each of these, and I can speak most to the Data Cooperative, the library. It doesn't matter. Faculty, staff, students, postdoc, community members, we are there. The Data Science Institute supports pretty much folks all across campus. I think for the most part, they're focused on the University of Arizona. And then CALS Data Science is starting to expand beyond CALS. If you wanted to participate in one of their workshops and you're not in CALS, I doubt they would turn you away. So they are very, very inclusive. We would, to some degree, we would like to be concierge data scientists for all of you, but there's only, what did we say, 6 or 8 of us? So there is to some degree a limited amount of resources. But for the most part, yeah, these are University of Arizona resources. I say they're free, but you all pay for them with your overhead one way or another. So yeah, but these are not fee for services. These are services that are just available for anybody here at the U of A.
Other questions?